So we're going to get into general care today. We're going to start with the bottom all the way up to the top of the colony. So what we're first going to talk about is heating. You want to keep your dubia at about 85 to 90 degrees, and you can achieve that by a few different ways. You can heat the entire room they're in, or if they're in a hot room to begin with, and I mean hot as in 76 degrees, they will sustain and they will grow at a steady pace like that. That won't be a problem, but if you need to accelerate their growth for any reason, or if you need to get them in proper temperatures, which would be yet again considered that 85 to 90 degree mark, you can use flex watt heat tape. You can use under tank heaters, the little Reptomats or whatever they're called. It's the little plastic heaters you plug into the wall that stick on the tanks, under tank heaters, or UTH. Now we're gonna get to the frass. Just need a little pump here. Now this is simply shell, poop, and whatever other collection of junk they've decided to put in there. It's actually a very clean, great source for fertilizer too. And if you do want to do fertilizer, just grind it up a little bit or remove the shells. You can sift it through a sifter if you really want to get it to the good mix, but the shells are beneficial too. Now, one thing about the frass is you want to make sure it stays dry. And when it stays dry, the only thing to really counter that is the fruit. Make sure it has a lip on the container. So we use the tops to make sure that the fruit juice stays in the colony. You don't want it getting out. It will cause mold, and it will wipe out your colony in about a week. For dry food, we keep it in another container. We use a high end on one side and a low end on the other. And if you can see that, it basically allows the babies to get in the one end and eat as much as they need and walk right out. And then the other high end is just so that we can get a little bit more food in there. For humidity, we mist once a day. And we do that simply because it's not necessary to do otherwise. And the more we come up here to disturb them, the less they'll eat. So the less they'll grow, breed, and get to the extracurricular activities that we need them to do. Now, this is one of our smaller setups actually, but you'll see the dubia in here are pretty big. These are a molt or two away from adults. You'll probably see a few adults as we go through here, but these are well over 1.5 inches. And there's 2 hypos. There's one at the top, and there's one burrowing right, like dead center. I'm actually going to try and pull her out. There's actually a third one right in front of the camera. So it's hypo day at CJS Dubia, apparently. I've never seen 3 in one spot before. Here's a good one. Here we go. Now here's what I mean by a hypo. If you look at it, of course my arm blocks the light. If you look at that and compare it to a normal dubia, you can tell there's a huge difference in color. As we mentioned before, we're going to start a collector quality dubia, and we're going to start breeding hypos to hypos and super reds to super reds, yellows, color variations galore. It's going to be pretty exciting. I'm interested to see what happens. It might take about a year to get a super duper result, but it'll be well worth it. And now these are 12 by 12 egg crates. This is just typically what you would want to use. You can get these almost anywhere. You can even go to your local diners and just get some egg crates for free off of them. You just want to make sure it doesn't have any raw food product, and if it does, I'm assuming drying it out would take care of any bacterial issues, but I would just buy them fresh. They're really cheap. And so 12 by 12, mist once a day, 90 degree heat at the max. Otherwise, you won't overheat them, but you don't want to cause any, I wouldn't say heat spikes in there, but you don't want the heat fluctuating 20 degrees all day. And the problem with keeping them over 95 is it's really hard to maintain that 12 hours a day and through the night, because when they heat up in the morning, you might have them heat up a little bit too quickly, and you don't want to end up killing them. Again, this is just more of our crates here. And so some other small things you want to know when you keep your dubia. You can keep a breeder colony and a nymph colony together. What I mean by that is you can have active adults breeding in the same thing as a nymph colony. Instead of having them separated, you can do it in one. Just it's not beneficial to have that happen. It's not going to hurt it though. You get better results when you separate the two. For barriers, you can do a few different things. We don't keep lids on the tubs here. We do a 2-inch heat, not heat tape, plastic shipping tape, and that will just keep any dubia strictly from getting out. This is a 30-gallon, really smooth bin. And some other things you can do simply is you can put the tape on this top 2 sections, the shipping tape, and you can spread olive oil on it. Now that olive oil is going to keep anything off of it. The only ones that get out are the adult males, and you'll find that simply because they're really light weight-wise, and they just find a way to do it. It's really amazing what they do sometimes.